There we are. They changed the little knot, the little thingamajig, so that we used to get this green square. Now we get this green little thingamajig. I think it's the same thing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm going to move the camera just a little bit. I had to rearrange some stuff in here today because this old sound system died. And yesterday we were rocking so hard that it just went away. So I'm going to make a couple of quick little adjustments here so that I can feel like I'm actually looking at you. And then I'm going to put this a little bit more like that maybe. Does that seem like I'm more centered? Hey Vic, sound is good. Good. I'm using my traveling microphone since we blew up yesterday's speaker system, microphone system. The microphones are fine, and the audio mixer thingamajig, I don't know, for whatever reason, decided yesterday that it had enough. I think it's probably time to just throw it away. I never throw anything away because I keep thinking I can revive it, but yeah, so it's gone. So we're gonna use this microphone. It'll be fine. All right, Vic is here, and others are logging in. I can see over there. I don't know if we'll have 100 people or 1 people. I don't know. It looks like we'll have at least 2 people. We're going to play Blackbird. And this will be it for the day. Video is good too. I know, right? The problem with the video is I'm in it. And other than that, the video is fine. Hey, Adrian. All right, so we're playing Blackbird today, top to bottom, both instruments. Then we'll go through, and then from here out, we will have one song that we finish each week, one we're working on, and one we're just starting. Okay, because Blackbird's definitely the easier of the two that we did last week, I want to just go ahead and get rid of it. Not that it's easy; it's actually quite challenging, but it's going to be fun to play, right? And once you get your hands where they're doing exactly the right thing every time, we'll be fine. The other thing is, I mentioned last week I intend to update this sheet music to 2025 standards. This is the 2021 version we're working off of. I just didn't get it posted. It's done. I just didn't get it posted. So, hey, LG. So we're going to play this 2021 version. Please know that the 2025 version is exactly the same song, just with some fancier stuff on the page. A couple of changes in fingering. That's about it. Hey, Jennifer. All right. Blackbird. Grab your ukulele, put it on. We should double check after all this. I had to completely tear apart the studio here today, looking for another way to deal with the microphone crisis. Okay, so we should be in tune, hopefully. Hopefully you've done the same thing I just did. And let's give it a go. See how we do. Hopefully I had a chance this week to look at it. That's the hard part, right? Is finding time to practice. All right, we're going to go slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to measure 5. Page 2, A minor, B flat, or sorry, D minor. Again, F, D minor, B flat, whatever this is, go. Back to measure 5, go. Page 2. And go. Felt like I didn't breathe that whole entire way. Isn't that nice? It sounds like the song, and you don't have to play fast, right? There's a lot of subtlety to getting everything exactly right. And I just played with my thumb the entire way through. I didn't even think about doing anything fancy with it. Just let the ukulele do the job for you, and I think you'll be real happy with that one. We went over all the fingering last week, so if you missed last week, check last week's video, and we can talk about all of the details, as they say, of the fingering. The only thing that I will change on the tough uke, honestly, is the fingering in measure 17. Everything else looks exactly right to me. And I don't remember. Didn't memorize the new format, but it's basically the same song. All right, so let's go grab the baritone version of this, Blackbird baritone. Now, if you don't have a baritone, which is weird at this level, but if you don't, you are going to be playing chords as a ukulele player, right? And so you need to. So hopefully, maybe you know. D, you should know that one. E7, right? Plunk, you know G, right? G minor is just here. Sorry, that's G minor. G minor on ukulele is this one. Sorry, get in ukulele brain. Okay, and that's your whole first line, right? Pretty unusual to have much more than that. You do have an A7 hanging out over in measure 7. Nobody knows diminished, right? Nobody. I have to look it up every single time, and I've been doing this for a long time. When you get to when you're playing chords and you get to an A sharp diminished, you just skip it. You just don't play it. Just play that A7. Just let that ring through and move on, right? You have on ukulele, you have a B minor in here. I goofed up your G minor. That's your G minor, remember? And then I think that's it. Second page, you've got a C, A minor, F, and G. You know all of those. C, A minor, F, and E. Remember on ukulele, your E is a bar chord with your pinky up here. I know, I wish it was something different too, but it's not. A minor 7th at measure 17. That's just open strings, right? Now I just played whatever it is on baritone, but just straight open strings is an A minor 7th for you guys on ukulele. So that gives you a chance to play with me when you don't have a baritone, right? Just pluck the chords. It'll sound cool. Okay, do the ones you can. The rest skip. From the top, same pacing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, hold on. How about we tune? What was I doing with this thing? This is tuned pretty crazy. Man, do I need strings on this? All right, from the top. Wish I knew somebody who did that. 1, 2, ready, go. Measure 5. Page 2. Go. Back to 5. Go. There we go. Pretty decent, right? All right. So now, here's the rule, okay? You're playing it even partially good. Play it all the time, okay? Just play it all the time until you get where you don't have to look at the sheet music anymore. And then learn the other 20 Beatles songs. And then you go in the evening, about 8, 9 o'clock, you head out, go down to your local establishment, and you play the Beatles on ukulele, and people are just delighted you're there, and they give you throw $100 bills into your bucket, and then you don't need to do whatever you're doing now. All right, there you go, Blackbird. Then what was the next song we were on? Eleanor. Let's take a look at Eleanor Rigby, which turned out to be a little bit harder than I wished it was. And it's because of those bar chords up the neck, right? So let's go make sure we're doing fine on that. I want to, Eleanor Rigby, I'm going to start on the baritone, trying to keep things kind of fair. I know most of you guys are ukulele players, but let's run through it on the baritone real quick just to make sure that we have it. And then I'll run through it on ukulele, and then next week we will finish this one, right? So if you're like, all right, I don't know which to practice, which of the songs to practice this week, Eleanor Rigby, you want to finish this week. And then we're going to start Here Comes the Sun tonight, which has one thing, which is super easy to play at our level, right? At this membership level, but there is one really painful thing that you have to get right. You're going to have to memorize it. There's no other way to get through it. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. Okay. But so your goal is to have Eleanor Rigby solid by next Wednesday. And then I will have, then get started on the next one. Okay. All right. Blackbird's yours. You own it. Master it. Okay. Eleanor Rigby. Okay. Talked last week about up the neck, this lovely shape. Okay. On ukulele, it's a B flat. On baritone, it's an F. Okay. And again, I'm not probably going to get super fancy with my right hand. When it's this complicated, you probably simplify this hand and really focus in on getting these where they need to be. Okay. Nice and slow. It's supposed to be 140. I would do it at about 80. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. Again. Go. Let's just repeat it one more time. Go back to measure 5, just to the end now. Go. Whoops. second ending. We need a high A minor at the end, don't we? We need 7, 5, 5, 5 to make that sound better. All right, how about that? Okay. All right, ukulele players, I know you're all sitting there going, just get rid of that baritone. Let's play the good stuff. All right, I find that very comfortable to play on baritone because I've got plenty of room to move my fat fingers, they're not really that fat, into the fretting spaces, right? Ukulele, this has been a bit more of an adventure this week, and I want, right now I'm like, oh God, let's hope that this goes well. Eleanor Rigby ukulele. Yeah, and just be thoughtful about, hey, I got to get my fingers into these weird couple of places. It's really unpleasant. So patience with yourself, right? And you heard me hit a few bum notes. You're going to hit a few bum notes probably, unless you're perfect. And when that happens, you pretend it didn't happen and you move on as best you can. Okay. All right. And remember, next week's the week that you're to finish this, right? That way you'll have 3 weeks. Well, officially 2 full weeks, right? 2 full weeks of working on a piece. Okay. And so that gives you, since we're not going to have that many pieces added on week by week, we'll just have 1 piece per week. That gives you a chance to really dive in, play it every day, right? And hopefully that will make you feel like, gosh, I'm really getting somewhere. I think the thing with this style of play, where you are doing chord and melody by yourself as a soloist, it can be a very lonely time because you spend a long time working on the same thing over and over and over, and you keep messing it up. Just have faith, and also, as much as you can, trust your brain to know what it's supposed to do next. If you slowly learn the song, and then when you're playing, there's many times where I'm like, oh, I think it's a 10, or I think it's a 7, or I think it's a 5. And my hand starts to move that way, and that's going to give me time to double check. But as much as possible, trust your brain and let the paper go. Let some of that. When you know a song, or when you know a series of notes coming up, just put your face right down here, and it's going to make it much easier for you to hit the right notes. Hey, Lynn. Those of you who may not know, Lynn and I spent a lot of time in the pandemic. She's from Jersey, so don't pick any fights with her. She's gonna mess you up. I think they don't say Jersey in Jersey. I think they say New Jersey. All right, you ready? Eleanor Rigby on ukulele, baritone players. You got, how bad are these two? B flat and D minor. Those aren't too bad, right? That's it. And the whole song, it's a 2-chord song. I don't know if you noticed that. 2 chords, right? So baritone players, give me a B flat. My brain's not good right now. And a D minor, okay? D minor is here, okay? And your B flat, is this B flat on baritone? That's B flat. No, that's B flat on ukulele. B flat. Oh, this is B flat on baritone. All right. From the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it ride. Go back. Play. 5, go. Listen to how cool this chord is. Second ending. There we go. What do you think? We'll play it again next week. Okay. Hopefully I'll be a little smoother. Couple of places in there are just, kind of chew you up, but mostly that's a very, I'm not going to call it a book 2-ish song, but it's definitely got space for you as a good ukulele player to go in and sort of noodle around with the details on that. And I think if it were me, which it will be, I'd really be thinking not about speeding up, right? Because a lot of times when we're playing solo, there's sort of this in the back of your head. You're like, I want to play it at the same speed the Beatles did. And I think that's always a mistake. I think if you want to play it as fast as you can, make sure it's as fast as you can, right? And that means some of those tough spots, the hard spot, of course, is when you got to get that measure 21, when you got to get that B flat shape on, plus your pinky on. That's the moment, right? That's the moment that'll determine how fast you can really play this thing. And other than that, I mean, all of it feels very, very straightforward. But that moment, and however fast you can get that on, determines how fast you can play the piece. And again, I am a fan of playing slow because there's no Beatles police. There is, it's called copyright, but other than that, nobody can. You're right. You're not required to do it the way they did it. And the good news is enough time has passed between when they were famous and now, where people don't necessarily have it hardwired into their brain that it has to go a certain way, right? Enough people have redone these, and other people have tried, and so you do not have to do what's in your head, baby boomers. I know you memorized this every album they put out, clear up until number 9, and then you're like, no, that's enough. But definitely give yourself the opportunity to slow it down. Enjoy the ride, and make your ukulele sound the best that you can. All right, here comes the sun. We'll run through the details. I'm going to use the ukulele because most of you guys have ukuleles, but baritone is identical. Okay, so just know as we walk through all of the pieces and parts that baritone will be exactly the same finger shapes and all of that stuff. Okay, all right, let me put this back up here. And if you have questions as we're talking about this stuff, stick them in the chat bar. I know it's hard to let go of your ukulele, type into the chat bar, and then put them back on. Don't think you got to be it's perfectly fine. Put your type if you have questions, because sometimes I say stuff that's ridiculous, like everything out of my mouth. Here Comes the Sun is going to be easy for you. Clear up until we get to measure 20. Okay, so let's talk. G chord on, right? D chord for baritones. Okay, strum, let that ride for a minute. Don't rush it. And then D dun dun dun. Strum. Okay, and so if you want to play it with your claw, okay. I tend to like to roll chords when I can. I don't know if it sounds right here though. Okay. what you hear here, it sounds like it's an A minor, but it's really a D trying to get out, right? Okay, that's on purpose, right? It's supposed to sound kind of not quite finished. It's really a D7 trying to become a D, okay? So that's plucking. If you want to strum it, sounds a little better that way. I don't know why. That if you're plucking it, you're going to get this wah dum, but if you're strumming, it's more like la la. Either of those things is what you're getting is there's this moment where it's not quite finished, then finishing. So that 2 at the end of measure 4, important moment. Wham, bum. Make sure that that's just like got it, right? That now that thought's finished, okay? Little darling, it's been a long and cold winter. Some of you have had a little bit of cold, right? We're going down to 14 here in Albuquerque tonight, and everybody's in a panic, okay? It was big news on the okay, next little section is 5 to 8, okay? Again, G chord, D chord for baritone. Okay, so easy, book 1 stuff, right? Nothing there that should surprise any of you guys. Okay, now let's go on to the next thing. And you should see, as you're looking ahead, you're like, oh, there's that stupid 5 again, right? So we got to get the 5 up here on the 5th fret. If you're on baritone, that might be a stretch, and so so when that happens, my goal is when I have this shape, G on ukulele, D on baritone, I want my pinky to go up to 5. But sometimes that stretch is too hard, okay? And when it is, index, middle, pinky, get your ring finger out of the way, right? Don't put it down here, but you're not going to use it. Then you've got 2, 3, 5, and that is going to come in super handy, right? Okay, it'd be better if you can stretch, right? But if you can't, okay, change your fingering out. All right, where are we? Measure 9. Okay, let's go. Ready? Strum. Okay, now tough moment. I should have thought that through. 5, 2, 3, 5. 5, 2, 3, 5. So I got a couple of choices. The best choice is probably just get your pinky real busy. You can, if you're using index, middle, pinky, right, you could go, and the problem is now you got to get this over to 2. So it's not ideal. If you end up having to do that, just slow down. Okay. Gary, come on. Strum, 2, 3, 2, 3, 5. But better if you can get your G chord on and put your pinky up here, then it's a little easier. Strum. And then your pinky is going to catch 3 and 5. And you'll accidentally, when you get good at this, get a little bit of that slide sound. Can you hear that? Right, you get a little slide. You're also getting major buzzing if you're me. Again, you're supposed to change your strings once every year. I don't remember the last time I changed the strings on this. I'm going to get them done this week. All right. So, important moment there. The whole song you can play. No big deal up until that moment. And so that measure 10 you might have to work on. I mean, this is my new thing. I talk about this all the time. How do you practice efficiently? Well, you don't need to practice the whole song. You're fine with that. You need to practice this moment until you have your fingers absolutely figured out what you're going to do. Okay, play that 50 times so that your pinky's like, oh, okay, I got to do all the work here. Okay, all right, let's go on. Measure 11. Whoops. Here comes the sun. This always feels like something that's kind of wrong. You've got this A7 and you have this G note hanging out in here. Okay, and the G is what makes a 7th note in an A, it's the G, right? Sounds really wonky, but so it's G, C sharp, E, A when you do it this way. And we're just taking this G and doubling it now, and taking the E out. So it feels a little incomplete, but that's what we have to do because the melody's in charge here. 203. And remember, don't move if you don't have to. Okay, back to your G chord. It's all right. And now we have the easier part of the run. 2 0 3 0 2 3 0 0 3 0 2 3 0 3 2 0 2. And then we're going to strum it down the next page, right? But you're going to have to practice this a few times. It's not hard, but it is not going to be just magically under your fingers. Okay, you're coming into this. You're playing out of a G chord. That 2 is a pickup note into the little run here, and now you're in a C chord. Feels like a G chord. Feels like a G chord. Dun, 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 dun. Make sure that you know that that's coming, and that's a big moment in this song. Bum, 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 bum. And then the G chord. Okay, they give you a little bit of a dun, 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 back to the beginning to remind you what song you're on, and then look what happens in 17. Okay, not hard. Okay, now. Let's go back to wherever. We go all the way back to the beginning. Play the whole thing again. That means measure number 10 is coming up, and measures 14 and 15 are coming up. So I wouldn't work on the whole song. I'd work on three measures so far, right? Second time you come through at 16, remember, don't play 17. Jump over to 18. And what you're coming out of in 16 is this G chord. There's a 2-beat measure there. Okay, and all that's doing is setting you up. Now here's the hard part. Okay, I'm going to sit up close to the computer. Okay, and now you're already holding the D chord, right? You don't need to change anything. You just got to get these notes. 2 2 0. When you hit that O, your hand is already rushing up here to get on 10, 10, and 8. 10, 10, and 8. So it's like an E flat up here on 8. Okay. You're like, what? Okay. I hate playing this high up on the neck on ukulele because it's like, who needs those notes? Well, we need those notes, and they need to be clean. So when you see a note go way up the neck, talk yourself into making sure that you can do it and do it well. Okay, so the hard part with way up the neck is not so much the shape is just an E flat on 8, right? But it's real easy to get, right? It's really easy to get bad notes out of that. So look away from your paper, look down here, make sure you get this right, and then I don't know if I'd go so fast. I might slow it down a little bit. 10, 10, 8. And then here's the easier part. Down to 3. Okay, same shape, down to 3. And you really want that shape to be the same in the next measure, but it's not. Notice your index fingers on where the bar is going to need to be. Okay, it's a C chord, but it's a C chord bar 3, right? So you're going to take this and lay it down to cover those two things, and just bring your middle finger back. Okay, so it's 4 3 3 0 0 G chord. Okay, now you think it'd be the same, but it's not. Okay, so at 25, you're like, oh God, I'm starting to hate this song because I really, really had to work hard at 20, 21, and 22. Okay, so now we're up to 6 measures that we're going to have to focus in on. Okay, Da dum bum. Now at 25, we only have one other thing to change. Okay, you got your 2-2-0. We've already done that. 2-2-0. And now you're going to put this little B flat on, just a mini B flat. 1-1, and this covering both ones, and this is covering the 2. Off. 1. And then we're going to repeat that whole idea. B flat shape. Open. 1, 3. I'll probably change this to a bar. I think I'd probably leave it. I probably won't change that D7 there to a bar D7. That's a bar with your middle finger on 3. That sounds better. And now we go back to the beginning. So if you can survive this page, page 2, and we're up to 7 measures now, right? Where you got to get them right. Okay, and they repeat, of course. And then at 40, we start the song over again. Okay, and this time I strummed the last time. Let's pluck. See what happens. 40. Ready? Play. There's that weird sound. Go. Page 3. You see a repeat here, and you're like, oh, I don't want to go all the way back to the beginning, but you're not going to have to. You're going to come back to this spot. Okay, 48. Keep going. This is where you go back, right? Now, so then you will jump back to 48. Okay, and I'm going to write myself a note here. Next week I will forget. To 48. Okay, and then play that a second time, and then let's go at measure 55. And the note here says much slower. So you're like, whew. Okay. Whenever you see that, you're like, oh, that's going to be good. So slow down, because they do on the album, right? Now that's complicated. If you're holding the G chord, 2, 3, 2, 5, and now you see that stupid 1 coming in there. So maybe while you're grabbing the 5, switch to a G7. Put your pinky there. Ring, pinky, pinky. Let that completely die out. Your ukulele shut up. And then finally, okay. Or even better, why don't we go up here? Okay, maybe a 7, 7, 7, 10. Okay, and that way you get a G on the top instead of a B. Okay, so just that little last section there from 55. Go. Finish. That's what we'll do. That'll sound nice, right? So all that stuff's exactly the same on the baritone, and should make you sound fantastic. Now, my goal is with these member sessions to have them be exactly 45 minutes, and this one was 44 minutes. And so, guys, I'm going to try really, really, really hard to be ready to go at 7. So I'm going to try to open up the room 2-3 minutes early and be ready to go at 7. So just put it on your calendar. Be here every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. I will let you know in the weekly email if I'm not going to make it. And my goal is to be here right at 7, so we have the full 45 minutes to get it done. And I don't get into whatever comes on TV at 8 o'clock, right? And so there's that. Questions, comments, or concerns? Now's the time to grab your keyboard and let me know what you're thinking. Um, my intention is to, let me go grab the famous Jolly Roger ukulele member site. My intention is to be cleaning these up and posting updated sheet music for everything as we go along. Sometimes, hey Linda, sometimes we are going to be playing from the old sheet music and then I'll update the sheet music or whatever. But I'm digging into it at a new level. I have a new brain about what matters and what doesn't. And I think my new brain is not as good as my old brain, but it is informed by other instruments that I've been fussing around with. And while I'm highly against the notion that standard notation is great on ukulele, it's definitely not. But there are people out there who just their little brains shut down if they don't have standard notation, and so I want them to have both. And you guys already have what you already know how to do it. So we're just tap dancing tap dancing for fools. Is that a saying? It should be a saying. I'm going to make it a saying. After we do Here Comes the Sun, I think All My Loving is going to be, I was playing that today, and I kind of like it. And then Hey Jude, and I Want to Hold Your Hand. So we're just going to be going down. I don't have a baritone version for Imagine or In My Life yet. I will get those up for you. And then we'll just continue on down the Beatles list. It'll be a nice spring and your goal, remember, I told you what your goal is. You want 20 songs from the Beatles that you're pretty good at. And then you're going to go down to the coffee shop and give them a concert, a 20-song concert of the Beatles. You don't even have to. You go in, you go up to the whoever's running the cash register, and you're like, "Would it be okay if you would turn your music down and I'm going to play ukulele for a little while?" And they'll be like, "Sure, whatever." Right? Put a cup in front of you, and then you're going to play all 20 songs. Okay, this summer. That's what we're doing. Um, Linda, what I do as I'm updating these is I'm changing the date up there. I'm trying to be really, really conscientious of that because some of these, I did one the other day, and what was I working on? A song that I hadn't touched since 2017. I was like, I pulled up the format, and even the software's like, what are you doing here? And that's very rare. Songs usually last 3 to 5 years, and then they have to be updated, right? Because things, you just get better and you get we get to think in different ways about stuff. And anyway, what I will do is I will just make sure that the date is there, and then I will try to remind you when we get together which sheet we're working on. So don't worry about updating until I say something. And then the only other way to know, like if you miss a broadcast or something, just go to the website and click on it. If the date is at the top is the same, it is the same piece of sheet music. But everything will eventually say 2025 on it, and then of course the new stuff coming in, right, will be in the proper format from the beginning. So, but yeah, great idea to just make sure you check your dates. Great. Okay, guys, I will see you next week. And I think the orchestra meets on Monday. They got froze out last week, so be working on that stuff. And I will see y'all down the road. Come to the beginners class. I'll teach you you'll learn how to teach other people how to play. And that's what we want to be doing, right? Sharing your knowledge. All right. Talk to you soon. Peace.